He slides a note that will make you scream. r/shortscarystories. The hum of the laundromat was a constant companion, a low thrum that vibrated through the soles of my worn-out sneakers. Midnight. Another 3 hours to go. The fluorescent lights flickered, casting long, distorted shadows that danced across the rows of washing machines. Shadows that sometimes seemed to move even when nothing else did. I folded a pile of towels, the stale smell of detergent clinging to my hands. Leo's towels. Bright yellow, his favorite color. He insisted on yellow everything, a splash of sunshine in our otherwise gray existence. He'd been having nightmares again, waking up screaming about a shadow man hiding in the corners of his room. I'd held him close, whispering reassurances, but the fear had burrowed its way into my own heart, because shadows had always haunted me too. Sarah's shadow. My sister disappeared 15 years ago, just vanished. One minute she was there, laughing, teasing me about my crush on the boy next door, the next she was gone. The police called it a runaway. I knew better. Sarah wouldn't have left me. Frank shuffled past, pushing a mop bucket. He always worked the late shift with me. He was old, probably harmless, but something about him made my skin crawl. His eyes, maybe. Pale blue like chipped ice, and they followed me everywhere. "Long night, Clara?" he asked, his voice raspy. "Just another one," I replied, not looking at him. "Leo doing okay?" I stiffened. "He's fine, Frank. Why do you ask?" He chuckled, a dry, rattling sound, just being neighborly. "Kids go through things." He moved on, leaving a trail of soapy water in his wake. Neighborly. He lived in the same building, but we weren't neighbors. We were just there, existing in the same dilapidated space. I checked the clock. 12:17 a.m. Detective Reynolds, the retired detective who'd worked Sarah's case, always told me that time was a thief. It stole away memories, it stole away hope. Leo had started drawing again. After months of just blocky figures, stick people now, more detail was emerging. Distorted faces, empty eyes, and always a tall, dark figure lurking in the background. Ms. Davison, his second-grade teacher, had called me yesterday, concerned. She wanted to talk. I pushed the thought away. One thing at a time. Get through this shift. Get Leo to school. Maybe call Detective Reynolds again, even though I knew he'd have nothing new to tell me. The door to the laundromat chimed, announcing a new customer. A man walked in, his face obscured by the shadows of his hooded sweatshirt. He headed to the back, feeding coins into a washing machine. I tried to focus on the towels, but my gaze kept drifting back to him. Something about his posture, the way he moved, sent a shiver down my spine. He didn't take his hood down, he didn't look at me. He just stood there watching the clothes spin. Brenda, a regular customer who always came in around 2 a.m., walked in. She looked at the hooded man, then at me, her eyes filled with a strange pity. "That building," she mumbled, her voice low and gravelly. "It has a hunger, you know." I frowned. "What are you talking about, Brenda?" She shook her head, avoiding my eyes. "Just be careful, Clara. Some things are best left undisturbed." She went back to folding her clothes, leaving me with her cryptic warning. Disturbed, that's exactly what I was. The hooded man finished his laundry and left without a word. Frank came over, wiping his hands on his greasy apron. "She's a strange one, that Brenda. Pays her no mind." "She said something about the building," I said, watching him closely, "about it having a hunger." Frank laughed. "Old wives' tales. This building's just old, falling apart like everything else in this town." He went back to mopping, but I saw something flicker in his eyes, something knowing. The rest of the night passed in a blur of anxiety and paranoia. I kept seeing shadows move in the corners of my vision. I imagined the hooded man watching me from outside the window. I felt like I was suffocating. As I was locking up, Frank stopped me. "Clara," he said, his voice uncharacteristically serious, "you seem troubled. Maybe you should take some time off, get some rest." "I can't afford to take time off, Frank," I snapped. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. He slid it across the counter to me. "Just think about it," he said. Then he turned and walked away. My heart pounded in my chest as I unfolded the note. The words were scrawled in messy handwriting. "She's watching you too." I gasped, the air leaving my lungs. My vision blurred. The laundromat spun around me. "She's watching you too." Who? Who was watching me? Who knew about Sarah? I stumbled out of the laundromat, my legs shaking. The streetlights flickered, casting long, eerie shadows. I felt like I was being followed. I drove home in a daze, my mind racing. Leo was asleep, curled up in his bed. I stood there for a long time, watching him, his small chest rising and falling. I would protect him, no matter what. I went to the kitchen and poured myself a glass of water. I looked out the window. The apartment building across the street was dark except for one window, Frank's window. I saw a figure standing there, silhouetted against the light. It was too far away to make out any details, but I knew it was him. He was watching me. I slammed the curtains shut and locked all the doors. I grabbed a kitchen knife and went into Leo's room. I sat beside his bed, the knife clutched in my hand, waiting for the dawn. The nightmares came. Visions of Sarah trapped in a dark, endless forest, her face contorted in terror, a shadowy figure looming over her, a voice whispering my name. I woke up screaming, my body drenched in sweat. Leo was gone. His bed was empty. The window was open. Panic seized me. I ran through the apartment, calling his name. Nothing. I raced outside, searching the streets. Leo, the unsettling man from the diner, stood across the street, watching me. He didn't say anything. He just stared, his eyes like black holes. I ran to the laundromat, my heart pounding in my chest. Frank was there, mopping the floor. "Where's Leo?" I screamed. "What have you done with him?" He looked at me, his face blank. "I don't know what you're talking about, Clara. Don't lie to me." I grabbed him by the collar. "He's gone, he's missing." He pushed me away. "You're hysterical. Maybe you should call the police." You did this." I stormed out of the laundromat and ran back to the apartment. I had to find him. I searched everywhere, under the beds, in the closets, behind the furniture. Nothing. Then I remembered something Brenda had said, about the building having a hunger. There was a door in the back of the laundry room, a door I had never noticed before. It was hidden behind a stack of old washing machines. I pulled the machines aside and opened the door. It led to a dark, narrow staircase that descended into the bowels of the building. The air was cold and damp, and the smell of mildew and decay filled my nostrils. I hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and started down the stairs. The basement was vast and labyrinthine, filled with cobwebs and strange shadows. I could hear the drip, drip, drip of water echoing through the darkness. "Leo," I called out, my voice trembling. "Leo, are you here?" A faint sound reached my ears, a whimper. I followed the sound, navigating through the maze of corridors. Finally, I came to a large room. Leo was there. He was sitting in the center of the room, surrounded by strange symbols painted on the floor. A tall, shadowy figure stood behind him. "Leo," I cried. He looked up at me, his eyes wide with terror. "Mommy," the shadowy figure turned to face me. It was tall and gaunt, with long, spindly fingers and a face that was hidden in darkness. "He led me here, Mommy," Leo whispered, the shadow man. I grabbed Leo and pulled him towards me. "We're leaving," I said, my voice shaking. The shadowy figure didn't move. It just stood there, watching us. I ran back through the maze of corridors, Leo clinging to my hand. We emerged from the basement, gasping for breath. I knew we couldn't stay here. We had to get away. I packed a bag with clothes and food. I grabbed all the money I had. I told Leo we were going on a trip. As we were loading the car, Frank appeared. "Where do you think you're going, Clara?" he asked, his voice low and menacing. "We're leaving," I said, my hand trembling as I reached into my purse. "You can't leave," he said. "You know too much." He stepped closer, his eyes filled with a cold, hard light. "This doesn't concern you, Frank," I said, trying to sound braver than I felt. "Oh, but it does," he said. "Sarah, she was special, and you're just like her." He lunged at me. I screamed and pulled the knife out of my purse. I slashed at him, hitting him in the arm. He stumbled back, clutching his wound. I grabbed Leo and jumped into the car. I started the engine and sped away, leaving Frank standing in the street. I drove through the night, not knowing where I was going. I just knew we had to get away. As I drove, I glanced in the rearview mirror. The unsettling man from the diner was standing on the side of the road, watching us disappear into the darkness. His face was still hidden in shadow, but I could feel his eyes on me. I stepped on the gas, driving faster and faster, trying to outrun the shadows that were chasing us. Was it all paranoia? Was Frank really involved? What really happened to Sarah? I didn't know. All I knew was that I had to protect Leo, no matter what. We drove on into the night, leaving everything behind. Our home, our past, our memories. Just us, against the shadows.